So yeah, good morning, people. I hope you're doing well today. Uh, I keep being interrupted by calls, so I had to redo this video I started, and I was talking about how the thing that will matter to me when I'm 90 years old or when I'm 100 years old, if God gives me life up to that point. And actually He has given us up to 120 years to live in this world if we play our cards right? So, and actually the thing that gives us long life in this world, according to the Bible, is honor your father and mother so that your days on earth may be long. So how many of us are actually honoring our fathers and mothers? And that's a topic for another day. How do you honor your father and mother? And I just thought to myself today, as I was preparing myself to come to work, what is really important in this life? As in, when you have all the money, when you have all the success, when you have achieved all your dreams and your goals that you had planned in the past, and now they are just a distant past because you've already achieved them, and you've already gotten everything that you ever envisioned that you will get, what next? As in, what will really count when after all is said and done, when you're old and frail and your life is on its sunset? What will count? What will be really important? I won't lie to you guys, I am quite frustrated in my work right now, and the reason I am frustrated is because where my current station, I'm not as preoccupied as I was in my previous station. I'm a fast guy. I like my things going very fast. I think quickly. I like to act quickly. I like to act when the iron is hot. But where I'm currently at, things are not as fast as they are, because this is a small town and it's still growing and it's still trying to establish itself as a as a county that can be counted. And unfortunately I'll have to be interrupted by the customer again, so I'll continue this video. Please don't go away. Okay, so now we can continue. So I was saying, when you look at the Kenyan political landscape or the landscape of our society today, there is a lot of greed, there's a lot of self-centeredness, there is a lot of me and me alone, and getting whatever I need to get at whatever cost. I don't really care the consequences. The end justifies the means. And I got to thinking to myself, when, God forbid, but when you get something like cancer, and your days are numbered, quite literally, if your faith is not strong enough to convince you that you can be cured of cancer, then your days are numbered. And you know that it's only a matter of time before you say bye-bye to this world. What really matters to you then? What are the things that you would want to do at that point in time when things have gone the way they have gone? See, that's the thing that I'm asking, and I'll have to pause again, but bear with me. So you see, what really matters to you when you're alive, when you're on this earth? Because let's face it, man, no one is going to live forever. I was reading the book of Genesis, and how people of long ago used to live these hundreds of years, but not anymore. The maximum that a human being can live right now is 120 years, at least according to what God has said that man should live. It's 120 years. You can look it up in the Bible, in Genesis. So my question is, for the time that you will be here on earth, what will be the thing that you think is most important, that it will inform every other thing that you do? And I think that's a very pertinent question to answer, because if you do not answer that question, then you're going to live a life of confusion, as I had lived for the better part of the 28 years that I've lived right now. And I think once you continue, okay, interruption again. So I'm back. So what is the thing that will make you decide now, since this thing is so important to me, then everything else I do has to be in a, in congruence with this thing that I think is so key and so important and so vital in my life for me to live a fulfilling life. And so I think my video today is about living life to the full. Living life to where you don't have any regrets, where you don't have anything that is holding you back. You are aware that everything that you've done it in the proper way, in the way that it's supposed to be done. So, like I said, when you look at the way our country is governed at the moment, as much as there are good people outside there, I mean, in our system, the bad apples outweigh the good. And this has put us in a situation where we are in dire straits. For example, my heart always bleeds for Turkana and Garissa. When you look at that place and you think people actually live there, and those people are Kenyans, they belong to this country. And then you hear the dams, like right now there's this, at any given time there is a scandal that is going on. Right now it's Kimwarer Dam, I think, something like that. And we've seen the CS being arrested and arraigned in court. And we will see how that goes. But the truth of the matter is, money has, some people have lined their pockets with illegally gotten money. And, let me just share something before I continue, because I think it is important. I was involved in my company in a scandal that involved a lot of money. And the circumstances under which I found myself there is a whole nother story. But I would just like you to know that sometimes, especially when you're dealing in the finance, sector, you have to be very careful how you do business and who you do business with, because they can land you in problems. And if you're not very keen on what it is that you're doing, it can land you in problems also. So I myself, I speak from a standpoint of experience, knowing that it is possible to lose a lot of money in a very short space of time if you don't have strong systems in your company, and in this case in government. But why is it that we're talking about money and government? Because we need money to run governments, but how is the money that is supposed to serve the mwananchi being used in our country at the moment? It's a joke. It's a charade, like the lawyer said, but in this case, I don't think it was a charade to report the cases the DCI and the DPP reported. The DPP actually reported that there was misappropriation of funds. So what is important even to Kenya? I would pose that question as in a larger context. What is it that is so important to Kenya that everything else has to be subservient to it? That every decision, every move, every transaction is informed by that important thing that Kenya holds dear. If Kenya can answer that question, then most of the problems in this country will just go away. But here's my take. I don't know where I believe you came from. I don't know how you think you exist. I don't know how you think this skin is the way it is, or these teeth, or even this forehead. I don't know how you think you exist. I don't know where you think you go once you die. But I strongly and firmly believe that there is a God. There is a God who looks at what we do. There is a God who doesn't sleep, He doesn't slumber. There is a God who watches every move that we make, every relationship that we ever enter into, every word that we speak, every thought that goes through our heads, the content in our hearts, every plan that we ever make, everything. There is a God who sees all these things. There is a God even who sees the government and how it's run, and the people who are in government and how they're running it. And as such, I strongly do believe that this country has, and I partly blame the people who are entrusted with guiding us, the pastors of nowadays. Because let me tell you for sure, ever since I came out from Nairobi, I used to go to JCC Parklands because I thought that is the place where I could hear the word of God being preached in its pure form. But ever since I left Nairobi, I haven't been to church, and that has been like in 6 years. I haven't gone to church. But I'm grateful that I have had the opportunity, and I have really put my best foot forward in informing myself and in educating myself more about Christianity on a personal level. And so the men of God, or the supposed men of God in this country, have really let down this country. When you look at the things that you hear in the news concerning these people, some of them, it is appalling that men of God can do such things. And we play around with this matter, but let me tell you, from my experience and from what I've seen, everybody needs some form of guidance in this life at some point in their life. So if the people who have been entrusted or have been given to us by God to guide us or to give us some guidance are nowhere to be found, then who do you go to? This is where I strongly recommend that you seek God yourself on a personal level. Take the Bible. Buy a Bible that you understand properly, like the Amplified Bible. Buy a dictionary. Buy whatever it is that you need to find the truth. Because I'm telling you, once you find the truth, then things start becoming very clear. So, back to my point on the existence of God. And I would recommend that you guys go and watch the movie God Is Not Dead. Because all the versions of God Is Not Dead, I think there is 1, 2, and 3. You will appreciate the fact that there is a God. And actually, you don't even need to do the movies. Have you ever lost everything in your life? I have. I've lost everything. I used to go to 5-star hotels and 3-star hotels. I used to buy 5,000 shilling shoe without even looking at the price tag, But ever since I was involved in this scandal that I've just told you about in my company, I had to scrape everything that I had, every saving that I had, and try to get as much money as I could to pay off this debt, because I don't believe in walking away from a problem. So I have to pay this debt. But the long and short of it is that I lost everything. I even moved out of my house. That was, I think, cool. And it had everything that I ever wanted as a young man. And I had to move into a smaller house. I had to spend days without food because I really didn't have any money to buy food. But now, as I sought God more, because I think when you're in dire straits or when your back is up against the wall, that is when you really find God, man. I'm telling you. And I've realized that some of these things are not very important. Food to eat is not very important. The clothes you wear, worrying about these things is not very important. But actually, seeking God in those times when you're in dire straits is the most important thing, because once you find Him, then things start becoming a whole lot clearer. So, if every one of you is going to take the time to find God, and this is not a demand, it's not a must. You can decide to not listen to me. You can decide to do things your way. But when your way doesn't work, try my way. See how that goes. So, I think in this country, we have lost it in terms of seeking God. We have just thrown God, we have flushed Him down the toilet. Because our values are in tatters. Our system of governance is in tatters. Our young people are confused. And I was one of them. But thank God I've gotten out of that pity party. Out of it. And there is so much that is not in place, that I have no other conclusion but that we have neglected God and the need for God in each of our lives. And I just hope that everyone could go back and seek God. Because I can tell you, man, I wasn't as bright as you see me right now. You know, I'm wearing a clean shirt and things are going my way right now, but still I'm not yet there. So we need to ask ourselves really and seriously, what is important? What is the most important thing in our lives? Because once you answer that question, then everything else starts to make sense. And I hope that you reach the conclusion that the most important thing in our lives is putting God at the epicenter. Putting God in his rightful place. Because I believe that there is a void. I read somewhere, I can't remember well, that there is a place in every human being's heart that can never be filled by anything else but just God. And I don't know about you, I don't know how far you are in terms of, you know, knowing God in your life, but for me, I found out that to be true. Because let me tell you guys, I tried very many things, and I will be sharing that also in the near future in my subsequent videos. So for today, on this day, the 24th of July 2019, when there is so much that is not going the way it is supposed to be, when young people feel that need so much guidance and they need instruction in their life, and they need to feel whole and fulfilled, and they need to see their dreams coming true, we need to ask ourselves, what is really important to us? And I believe once we answer that question, then our relationships, our dreams, our goals, you know, how we handle money, which is a very, very sensitive area again in every person's life. How we handle money, how we, you know, plan our days, and how we, the condition of our minds every day when we wake up in the morning, and how we spend our days, and how we go to bed at night. All these things will fall into place. And I won't say much for now. I think that will suffice for today. So for everyone who is out there and, you know, you feel like there is something more than what you are experiencing right now. There is something more to life. You know, I was thinking, you know, I've shared with you the fact that I lost friends in a span of 5 years. My best friend, Trevor Sodo. I lost a friend who we grew up with. His name is, what is his name? Not the brother to Mutus. We used to live together back in the hood. I lost Jonah, my high school friend, you know, and I've lost guys who I really valued and who I treasured, and I asked myself, where did these guys go, and why did God leave me here on this earth? Why am I here? You know, what is my business here? Like Trevor, we were the same age, we went to the same primary school, we went to what do you call it, high school, we went to college, we were done, everything was in step. What I did, he did, but he died and I'm still alive. So why am I still alive? And Trevor is dead. And where did Trevor go? You know, those are the questions that preoccupy my head right now. So anyway, let me just not put a somber mood to this, but this is quite serious, and I wish that everybody could take it serious what I have to say, and just take the time to think about it and see whether it makes sense. And I'm hoping that, you know, my goal at the end of this is that everybody will live a fulfilled life, a full life, and they won't have to feel that there's just nothing for them in this world. Because everybody has an assignment, everybody has a mission, and it all begins with knowing what is most important in your life. And I hope that the conclusion for that question is that God comes first before anything else. So that's it. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you enjoy yourselves. And just think. Thinking is good. So just think. Peace. Till next time.